14th chapter's name is Elements, Compound and Mixture. So today in this lesson you are going to know about what are elements, atoms and mixture. So first of all group of molecules, and then just so mixture is made up of two or more different substances. I have given you the example of tea. Okay, when two different substances mix together at that time, that is known as a mixture. You can separate this mixture with the physical means, but when this mixture is dissolved in water, it becomes a solution. Okay, then we have studied about elements. What are elements? Elements are the simplest form of pure substance that can be broken down into that cannot be broken down into physical or chemical means. Okay, so that means the elements are the substances which cannot be broken down even after the physical or chemical changes. So there are many different elements that I'm going to show the chart to you so that you will understand different elements. The next is compound. Now this compound is made up of two or more elements. So these elements, when they are combining with two or more elements, that time they are called as compounds, and this can be broken down into simple form when they undergo the chemical reaction. Okay, so let's move towards the next slide. That is, what is matter? I told you matter is anything that occupies space as well as mass. For example, if the water is in a container, so water is occupying the shape and space as well as shape of the container. It is occupying the space as well as it is having the weight, or we can say mass. So that is a matter. Matter means what? Matter is nothing but it is occupying space as well as having mass. Okay, then other next point is that anything that has the mass and occupies the space is called as a matter. So this is the perfect definition for matter. Anything that has the mass occupied space is called as a matter. Okay, now this matter is divided into four different states. Okay, matter is divided into four different states. So which are those states? Solid, liquid, gas and plasma. This plasma means some elements are there which are not capable of classifying in solid, liquids or gases. They are classified as plasma. Okay, now all livings and non-living things are made up of matter. So this is the most important thing that you are supposed to know, that all living things and non-living things are made up of matter. Okay, now what are the properties of matter? Texture. So matter depends upon the texture, smell, color and shape. So in texture, what are the points of the matter? Soft, whether the matter is soft, smooth, hard or rough. Then whether the matter is having a smell of fragrance or it is stingy smell. Stingy means bad smell. Then color, whether the matter is having blue color or yellow color. Then whether the matter shape is long, round or short. So all these four are the properties of matter which depends upon the texture, smell, color and shape. So these are the properties of matter. Now let's move towards our next point, that is elements. Now elements means what? In chemistry and physics, the element is the substance that cannot be broken down into simple components. In the starting only first slide I told you what are elements. Elements are the substance which cannot be broken down into any small form or simpler form, but with either the elements undergo physical change or chemical change. They does not, they are not broken down into the simpler components. This point you should remember, students. Then the next point is that the elements is having protons. Protons means we have seen an atom. In that atom, there are positive as well as negative electrons. So positively charged electrons are called as electrons, and negatively charged are called as neutrons. Okay. Now the positively charged atoms, the element is determined by the number of protons in the nucleus of the atom. In the specific atom, how many protons are present, the element is determined according to that. I will show you in the next chart. Then the number of proton in the nucleus of the atom is known as atomic number. Now here you can see the periodic table of the elements. Here you can see hydrogen is a non-metal and it is having the atomic number as 1. Then the helium is having the atomic number as 2. So there are more than 105 elements, 3 to 5 elements in this periodic table. There are these elements may be metals, this may be non-metals, this may be metalloids, or they may be inert gases. So inert gases means helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon. These are all the inert gases, and these do not take part in any of the reactions. Okay. This is the most important point. Now, this table I have shown you for knowing that how the atomic number is different for each different element. Okay, this is the atomic number you can see for the different elements. Okay, now here there are different elements, and all different elements are having different symbols. For example, hydrogen. So hydrogen symbol is H. Then helium. Now hydrogen and helium, they are both starting with the capital letter H. So for helium, the second letter is taken, that is E. So the symbol for helium is He. Okay. Initially, the first letter, capital letter of the element is taken as a symbol, but that symbol is, if it is repeated, then the second letter is also taken. Okay. Now here you can see lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium. Okay. So these are some of the elements and the symbols. Okay. So students, you should know the symbols of the each elements. Okay. Now the next is compound. Now in the chemistry, the compound is a substance that results the combination of two or more elements. In the previous slide, I told you the definition of compound. It is the combination of two or more elements. Now you have seen the elements in the previous slide. So here, if we will take an example of water, okay, that is hydrogen, H2O. Here hydrogen atom as well as oxygen atom both combine together to form the water compound. Okay, so water is an example of compound. Okay, here two or more different elements combine together to form compound. Now these atoms are very much strongly held together by the chemical bonds, and it is very difficult to break this chemical bonds. Okay, so these bonds are generally used for sharing or exchange of electrons of the atoms. Whenever there is sharing or exchange of the electrons from the two atoms, that time only these bonds can become weak, and they will allow the atom to give the electrons to the other atom. Otherwise, it is very difficult to break this chemical bond. Okay, and the smallest breakable unit of the compound is known as molecule. So again, you will hear new term has came, that is molecule. The smallest unbreakable unit of the compound is called as molecule. So students, you have studied about the compound and elements. You are gone, you have understood these things. Okay, now the examples of the compound. What are the examples of the compound? Water. Water means H2O. Here hydrogen and oxygen combined. Table salt. So here table salt means the salt which we are using. So here sodium chloride. Salt symbol is NaCl. Na means sodium. Uh, Cl means chlorine. Okay, and even chlorine is made up of is the example of compound. So students, I hope you have understood with these examples that what are compounds and how the formation of the compounds take place. Okay, now let's move further. The third point of our chapter is what is mixture. Okay, in the starting we have studied what is a mixture. Mixture is the substance which is made up of two or different substance, the material which is made up of two or different substances which are not mixed with combined chemically. Now for example, in rice, in rice, just a second. For example, in rice, what happens? There are some stones also. So physically, you can remove the stones from the rice, even if the stones are mixed with the rice. So that is known as a mixture. You can physically separate them. But when the mixture are in the form of solution, suspension, and colloid, that time it is impossible for the mixture to be separated. Okay, so there are some different methods how to separate these mixtures that we are going to study in the next slide. Okay, now for example, let's take the example of tea. When you boil the tea, what you take water, you add sugar, tea powder, and lastly you add milk, and then you filter the tea, and then you drink the tea. Okay, you don't drink it directly because the unwanted things is also there in that tea. So what I hope you have understood the example of the mixture. Now there are two different types of mixture, that is homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. Now homogeneous mixture means what? It is a type of mixture in which the composition is uniform and the same property. Okay, means whatever you dissolve in this mixture, everything is in proper manner, and you cannot identify whether anything is added to it. Okay, for example, orange juice. Okay, then other example of the homogeneous mixture is alloys. Okay, alcohol in water. These are the example of the homogeneous mixture. So let's see what is the examples of the heterogeneous mixture. The mixture which are not mixed properly, those are called as heterogeneous mixture. For example, air. Now we always say that air is a homogeneous mixture of gases substances, because in air there are different gases present and we cannot separate all the gases differently. So it is a mixture. So it is which type of mixture? It is a homogeneous mixture. When salt, sugar, or any other substance is dissolved in water, for example, when you are making sharbat at home, lemon sharbat, what you do? You add salt, sugar, and you dissolve it in water, and then you add some lemon, and you make the mixture. So that type of mixture is called as a homogeneous mixture. Okay, so I hope you have understood about the heterogeneous mixture and homogeneous mixture. Then homogeneous mixture can be of solute, solvent present in a solution. So students, you have studied what is a solute, what is a solvent in the previous chapter. So you are very known about this thing. Just the important thing is that what is mixture? Mixture is made up of two or more different substances mixed in a matter, that is known as a mixture. Then mixture is divided into two different types, that is homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. Okay, now there are three families of the mixture. How you can separate the mixture? Now, what are the three types of the method which are used for separating is called as method of distillation, then separating funnel and centrifugation. These are the three methods in which the mixture can be separated. Okay, now let's see the first type of the method, that is the method of distillation. Here you can see the picture. In that picture you can see a stand. On that stand you have a pot. In that pot the impure liquid is there, and it from down heat is supplied to that pot, and it is attached to the test tube which is having the cold water inserted in it, and the pipe which is attached to the heated pot, that is having a tunnel, and that is outlet is to the pot. Here you can see the figure very clearly. Okay, so this distillation method is very widely used for separating the mixture. Okay, when the boiling point of the mixture of the liquid things, so all the liquids do not have the same boiling point. So the liquid which is having less boiling point will be first boiled, and in the form of vapor it will go up, and then it will be collected in the distilled liquid. So that will be collected. In this way you can separate the two mixtures of liquid in the form of boiling point. So all the once again I will tell you, all the liquids are having different boiling point. For example, water is having 100 degrees Celsius of boiling point. At 100 degrees Celsius the water starts boiling. So all these different liquids are having different boiling point. So whenever there is a mixture of two different liquids, that time you can use this distillation method and try to separate both the two different mixtures from each other by this method, because this method is very helpful and very widely used for separating the mixture, as all the liquids are having different boiling points. So this is all about the distillation method. Let's move. This is the figure, and these are the apparatus which are available in our science lab. Whenever the school will open, you may be able to see the practicals in the science lab, and you may be able to see the apparatus used for distillation method. Okay, so let's move forward. Now the second method is separating funnel. Now here you can see a separating funnel is there, and the solution consists of kerosene and water. Now students, you will know that when two liquids are mixed with each other, they do not mix thoroughly. They do not mix thoroughly. For example, in water, if oil is formed, what will happen? Oil will start floating on the water. So you can easily separate the water and the oil from the liquid. So this only method is used for separating funnel. Okay, now here in the figure you can see that the kerosene as well as the water is mixed together. The is mixed together and it is poured into the separating funnel. Now what does the separating funnel do? So as you know that the kerosene floats on water, so you will see the upper layer with kerosene and the lower layer with water. And as so you can see the stop cock. Also you can see the cock, which is for stopping the solution. So now what you are going to do, you are going to open little bit the cork. So what will happen, the water in the separating funnel will start get collecting in the beaker, which is kept down in the downside of the separating funnel. Okay, so how much amount of water you can see, you will on the cork only till that much. When the water level is stopped, you will immediately stop the cork. So what will happen, the kerosene which is present in the solution will remain in the separating funnel, and the water will be get separated in the beaker. So this is the very easiest method of separating funnel. So it is very easy to understand also how you can separate the kerosene and water. In the first distillation method, we have studied about the liquids can be separated in the with the help of boiling point, and here we have studied that liquid can be separated when the two liquids are immiscible liquids. When the two liquids are immiscible, means they are not mixed with each other, that time we can use the separating funnel method. So this is the second method, how to separate the mixture. Let's move towards the third part of the third method of the mixture, how to separate the two different mixture with the help of centrifugation. Now what is centrifugation? In this process, the centrifugal force is used in the laboratory, and the heterogeneous mix on the heterogeneous mixture, and the solution is separated. Okay, so this centrifugal may be in the form of machine. Now you may say that what is centrifugal force. So I will show you something. um, just a second. Okay, now these are some centrifugal machines, which are, some are electrical, some are manual. Okay, so what you have to do, when the two liquids are not mixed properly, means you can see two different you can see that the particles are flowing in the water. So what you're going to do, you're going to take take that solution in the test tube, and you can put in the manual centrifugal test tube holder is there. So you can put all the test tubes in that, and manually you can start rotating the wheel, and you will apply the centrifugal force, so that the test tubes will rotate continuously for 5 to 10 minutes. And after applying the centrifugal force, what will happen, the solution will settle down, means whatever particles which are not dissolved in water, they will settle down, and the upper part you will get a clean water. Okay, this is how the centrifugal force is used. I told you the use of the manual use of the centrifugal force. Then even there are some electrical machines in which the test tubes are directly put, and they are adjusted with the help of timer, and after some time when you see, you will get the same thing. This is how the centrifugal force is used, and this is how the centrifugal this is how the centrifugation is done about the two mixture. Okay, now I hope you have understood. When there is a force applied to the test tube, what happens that time, with the help of the gravitational force, rapidly, continuously, at that time what happens, the precipitate which are present in the liquid, that gets settled down at the bottom of the test tube, and the remain solution is above the solution. So this thing happens, and this is how it is this is how the method of centrifugation is useful to separate the two different mixtures. Okay, so this is all about the chapter. This is the machines that are used for centrifugation. In this lesson, we have studied what are elements, what are compounds, what are mixtures. Even we have seen different elements with the help of periodic table. In periodic table, we have seen almost 103 to 105 elements having different atomic numbers. as well as we have seen how two elements combine together to form compounds. Then we have studied about mixture. uh, what are mixture? Mixture are the material of mixing two or more substances together, that is called as mixture. Then again we have studied two different types of mixture, that is homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. And even after that last point we have studied how to separate the mixtures. We have studied the three different methods of uh, we have studied the three different methods of separating, that is distillation method, separation method, and centrifugation method. Okay, so there is one more method, that is method of chromatography. In this method of chromatography, two or more substances are dissolved in the same proportion in the same solution, and this can be separated by the means of chromatography. Now, what is chromatography? Okay, the chromatography is the method in which two properties of the substances are used, and the solubility of the substances in the solute that moves up and stick to the paper. Okay, just a second.